Raise your hand. Yeah, thank you. It was a very beautiful speech, a very powerful speech, and a very impactful speech. It was like a masterpiece. Let us look at certain things that stood out in your speech. The first one being, so the project purpose was inspiring an audience. And one of the best ways to inspire an audience is to have stories, personal touch. It establishes credibility in the speaker. And your stories were very beautiful. You started off with the story of your 8th grade experience and then about your interview and all, and everything was beautifully done. And the second thing that stood out in your speech was visual imagery. The way you described metaphorically the dungeon, the monk or the Sigma monk, and then the rope, and all these things were beautifully done. And then one thing that really stood out uniquely in your speech was the transitions was physical. I saw you moving from A to B, B to A. It was physical. And then the stories you introduced, not by simply using a transition word, but you also did a jab, a hook, an uppercut. Do you know boxing by chance? I could see that. And now let us look at those parts of your speech that are actually in the dungeon. And let me be your Sigma monk. And let us, I'll show you the way through the rope also. So the first one was, your speech was absolutely beautiful, but there are certain things, two places where your speech lacked. The first being the emotions part. So when you brought out in a speech which requires inspiration, there is a low, there is a struggle, and there's a high. It was beautifully done. But then I feel that your low was not described properly. Your 8th grade story and your rejection interview, these all seemed pretty generic in nature. And something, of course, I could relate to, but it was not deep as such. So I would recommend you to spend a little more time on these stories of low, so that there's an impact. And again, an extension to this is you do not play out your emotion pretty well when it comes to these stories. Your tone was again jovial in nature. While you're describing a low in your life, it felt rushed, and then it felt a little jovial. So the impact or the pauses or the emotional effect that the audience has to feel, especially in a speech that is aimed at inspiring the audience, I should feel the low. I should feel the low, not just hear it. So maybe you can focus more on that. And overall, your speech was really great. Right from the moment you came on the stage, it hit me inside my head. And then you did all those boxing and all those imagery and all. It was beautifully done. But again, I think emotions is what we can play out very well. Back to the general evaluation.